Welcome to Polk Unplugged. I'm your host, Jeremy Maready, and today we're going to be riding the trails at Bone Valley ATV Park with Derek Harpe. Welcome to Polk Unplugged. We're out here at Bone Valley, and I'm here with Derek Harpe, and getting to know Derek a little bit better and a little bit about his background. And Derek, you've been here for quite a while with the county, haven't you?
I think we're right in the middle, 18 and a half. I'm getting close to 19. I think the summer will be 19 years.
All right. Well, tell me a little bit how you got started. Has Parks and Rec always been in your life?
It has.
Yeah.
My father was a Parks and Recreation director for years.
That's kind of an understatement.
Yeah. Yeah, and I grew up in parks, basically. You know, I'd get off a school bus and I would step off into a park. And, you know, pretty good childhood growing up. North Georgia in the mountains, you get off a bus and your bicycle's waiting on you and you can ride and you got thousands of acres to play in. And that's kind of cool. But yeah, I always grew up in parks, and you know, I was a social science education major in college, and then got to the end and I don't think I want to do this. You know, and transition was pretty easy. Job came up inside the county. I'd worked in Parks and Rec to get myself through college, and so a job came up with the county. I applied for it, and the rest is history.
So how do you make it from Georgia down to here?
My mom's family's from here. She's
Okay.
Polk County, and she's born in Bartow, raised in Fort Meade. Actually, my grandfather got sick, and she wanted to come home to be closer to him. And Dad sacrificed being in the mountains, which he loved, to help out and come down here. But yeah, that's how we got down here, and it was very beneficial for my mom and being close to her family in a time like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it's, you know, Polk County is we were here every summer anyway, and most Christmases, and it was home anyway, so it was not a big transition for us.
Okay. So now you find out, you know, in college you kind of went a different route. I know I did the same thing. Coming out into your professional life, what things like started motivating you? I know you kind of grew up in that, and getting into the county, into the park system. What was it that just drove you with that?
You know, the cool part about our job is we get to, you know, we work so other people can have fun. And there's really not a bad day at work. You come in and there's different things going on. The county's so big, and we got such a variety of activities, from special events to all the different types of parks we have, the campgrounds and all that really cool stuff. So you get to work to do those kind of things, and I think, you know, we all enjoy, people in our profession enjoy seeing people enjoy themselves. Keeping kids safe is a huge part. You know, we do all the background checks and screenings and make sure our leagues are functioning well. The kids are safe. We do summer rec programming, so they have a safe alternative in the summer to be, instead of being at home, they can be out there exercising, doing those kind of things, and keeping them active. And then the special events, getting families together, getting communities together, and doing those things. I think that's what drives us, really. Mm-hmm. You know, you're not going to get rich in this profession, but you're going to be happy, and you're going to make other people happy, and I think that's a very cool thing to do. And I think that's probably, you'll hear that from most of my employees and the people in this industry.
Oh, I certainly have. I mean, getting to know the folks you work with, it's an amazing group. And I know things are considerably different now than the way they had been. I mean, I grew up here, so I knew, you know, coming up and, you know, what the county had to offer. It's vastly different now, and, you know, much more expansive than, you know, what it was 20, 30 years ago. And coming through and seeing your dad's work here, what was it like first, him coming here? What did the Parks and Rec, you know, situation look like for Polk County, and kind of you coming along? How was that transition to what we have now?
I basically have about 30 years of background here as far as our Parks and Recreation facilities. You know, first 10 of it probably was with Dad, following him around and helping him out and seeing the different things, and it's night and day. I think what you saw was a very stripped down park system, just keeping the doors open, keeping the grass mowed. That was about as much as you could do, and most of the facilities were inherited. Small communities made a baseball field if they needed a baseball field, and they kind of eventually the county took it over and kind of took care of it. We transitioned that into actually building parks and destination parks, and developing a rounded park system. We're still not, we're still probably a little behind some people as far as indoor facilities. But outdoor facilities, ours rival anybody. The variety, the number of acres we have. So Polk County is very park rich, I think, as far as if you want to get out and do something outside, you can do it. Whether it be hiking in big environmental parks that we have, or doing something specific like going to the gun range, or going to play tennis or volleyball. I mean,
you got Northeast Regional.
We got a cool variety of stuff.
Harpe, named after your father.
Yep, 2,000 square acres. So the main thing I've seen is, as we've kind of the last 15 years rebuilt the park system, is you end up with very sustainable buildings, world-class facilities at some of our places at Northeast Regional, Christina. You've seen those things kind of develop over the last 10 years. Places that Polk County can truthfully go out and recruit events and say you will be happy here and you will enjoy your experience here. And it's great for our at home, the kids, our citizens and their children. They get to come out to some of the nicest parks there are too. And with the city of Lakeland, city of Bartow, Haines City, Winter Haven, you got really good park system. You have a really good, real well-rounded park system. The school board has been very active with us as far as making some of their facilities available. So you've seen the growth in the last 20 years has been phenomenal. It's gone from, when I came in, you basically are like 4 people sharing a computer, to now a truly developed park system where we're out and doing these things and doing the things we should, providing special events. So yeah, the growth has been, but it kind of has mirrored the growth of the county. This is a very different county than it was 20 years ago.
Certainly. So, you kind of mentioned a couple of times looking back at, kind of like that last 15, 20 years where things really started to develop. Where was there a mindset change in, how, county government, city governments tackled parks and funded them that just kind of changed within that time?
It did. I think the county wanted to make an investment in the park system because it made the county more attractive to potential businesses, potential visitors, potential residents. Quality of life is a huge issue when people are looking to relocate, whether it be a business or just personally coming in and moving their family into a new area. We sit in a very advantageous position in the county or in the state where we have I-4 and 27 and 60, State Road 60, all running through the county. You can get just about anywhere from Polk County. It makes it a very central location to do things. So, the funding mechanism was the hardest part, and the Board of County Commissioners passed an MSTU a number of years ago that supported the park system. The board has been great for the last 10, 15 years about supporting the park system, making that investment in it, and I think it's paid off with a lot of growth for the county, and increasing the facilities that our patrons and our citizens can come and visit at any time. That was the major change, is the MSTU and the outlook of the county commission. Hey, let's invest in our park system, make our county a little more attractive.
So we get into your position as the recreation superintendent now. What all do you do and get to see in your position?
Well, the way I like to explain it to people is the park side, facility side and parks. We get to kind of get together. We build facilities. Parks maintains them. Recreation programs them. It's the easiest way to do it. And what that is we oversee. If it's an athletic complex, we oversee all the youth leagues, get them scheduled, get them put in, make sure their background checks are done, make sure their books are balanced, things like that. We do special events, which is a huge portion of what we do. We manage campgrounds, 5 community centers. We help program this place, which is a really cool thing to do with Bone Valley. So it's varied. We do a lot of things, but like I said, the simple way is Parks maintains them, we program them, we get people to come into them some way, whether it be through special event or program rentals. We manage all the rentals for the 130 plus ball fields we have now, which is a huge job that our recreation coordinators do an awesome job with. But yeah, that's kind of we want you to come in and enjoy the park, and that's our job to make sure you do, make sure you know about them, and have a good time while you're there.
Sounds good. Well, I know, even though you're down here in Polk County and have been for a number of years, that a lot of your sports heart still stays up in Georgia. And just looking around your office at some of the stuff, I know over the years you've got quite a collection of Atlanta Hawks and Braves and all kinds of other paraphernalia in there.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about how you still keep those roots and how that affects you.
Sure. My dad, my mom was from Bartow. My dad's from South Georgia, a little town called Cordell, right off of 75. He grew up, and athletics was a big part of his life, and it was for my brother and myself as well. He played baseball at the highest level. Football, he played at the University of Georgia. Played baseball as a pitcher, and played a little first base. And so we grew up in North Georgia. I've just visited Hiawassee, which is basically my home for the first 11 years I was in existence until we moved here. And there is nothing, and for most of the Southeast at the time I was growing up in the 70s and 80s, you watched the Braves on TBS,
Sure.
And that was the only franchise in the South. And I grew up with Bob Horner and Dale Murphy as my heroes, Pascual Perez, some of those old timers. That's my childhood, and I grew up with that. And then going to Athens every Saturday during football season was a religion in our household. So the University of Georgia and the Atlanta Braves are huge for us. I'm happy the Falcons are as far as they are. I'm a Bucks fan. You kind of came down here. The Rays and Bucks are kind of adopted. You want to be close to it so you can go attend games and figure it out. And it helps that the Rays are in the American League and the Braves are in the National, so there's no.
So there's a little bit of a split
there.
So
A little bit of a
you don't
split.
feel too guilty.
No. But so you like the Bucks, but you still keep an eye on the Falcons. The Hawks I barely keep track of them. But it's nice to keep track of the home. So I'm a Georgia fan. If you come to my office and you'll see Braves and Georgia stuff all over the place. Those are my primary two, probably. That I still keep in touch and keep up there. I go up a lot for those things.
All right. So we talked a little bit about your background in Atlanta and some of the stuff you have in your office. Now let's go see what you do.
I started as a recreation coordinator when I came to work here. Don Wilson, Parks and Recreation Director at the time, and hired me. And then the recreation was about 4 people, and we did about 6 special events a year and taught to youth leagues. That was about it. Since then, we're up a few people. We're up around 12 and a half, I think, full-time equivalent. So 12 full-time, 1 part-time. We've inherited 5 community centers. We're up to about 28 youth leagues now, 5 adult leagues. There's 12,000 coaches that we kind of oversee the background check screening of, 12,000 kids, about 5,000 coaches. It's just grown. Our biggest challenge is the size of the county. Providing things to do for everybody from Poinciana down to Fort Meade is difficult. But the staff that I've had over the past 18 years and I work with today are awesome people, and they care about what we do, what we produce. Their goal is to give the residents of Polk County a great experience, give them that recreational activity that people of Lakeland enjoy, the people of Winter Haven enjoy. The unincorporated area is massive, as you know, in this county, and so that our staff is really dedicated. And if you've been to a lot of our special events, we go all out for it. And the creativity they have, the dedication they have, the long hours they work to get everything done, the sacrifice to be away from their families and friends so other people can come and enjoy their lives, enjoy their leisure time, is still amazes me. I've been away from my family at different times just because it has to be. I missed a lot of Halloweens in the past because of working for other people to enjoy theirs, and my people do that to this day. My staff does that, and without complaint, without hesitation, and just to see the reaction of people and enjoyment, and see them out in the parks and see them away from their cell phones, away from the TV, away from the video games, and outdoors enjoy themselves is our biggest joy. Is we get a lot of pleasure out of seeing other people enjoy themselves. When somebody comes up, shakes your hand, and says thank you for what you did, that's the biggest paycheck we get. working for great people, I've had privilege. I've gone through and looked at my career over the years. I've been really fortunate. My first job was working for Dennis Gunther down in Fort Meade, working summer camps down there for him. And Dennis is awesome. He retired a few years ago, but he worked for Fort Meade for a long time and did a great job in that community. Great guy, great leader. Same thing. Then I went to work for City of Lakeland. Bill Tinsley is an awesome guy, and it has had a great organization at that time when he was director there, and really enjoyed the people there. Even Bob Donahue, who is the recreation director there, a good friend of mine, worked with him, and so watching how he developed a great staff and how he allowed that staff to work was very influential in my early career. And then come to work for Don Wilson. That was an experience on its own. But the biggest experience of my life is growing up in my house. After I got off the school bus, from the time I was in kindergarten on, it was in some park, some recreation department. Going to see up in the mountains of North Georgia with my dad, coming down here, and he was first Parks and Recreation Director for Polk County. Huge legacy for me to kind of live up to. I've had great people that I've followed, and now Don Wilson, I miss him a lot, but I've got Mike Callender and Jeff Spence and really good people that are overseeing us. So I've been fortunate. I've known a lot of people that didn't have that going through their career, and to have the guidance that these people give me, the knowledge and wisdom they've given me, and now I'm kind of transitioning to that gray-haired kind of guy that people look at, and with institutional knowledge. I've got 18 plus years here, so institutional knowledge. That's kind of transitioning from the mentoree to the mentorer. When I got here, the resources weren't deep. It was hard to get things you needed to do. Along that way, 16 so years ago, the board started changing. Money, the development started in the county. Money was a little more, available. But sometime along that way, you're absolutely right. The board and subsequent boards after that made the decision that we need to improve the quality of life for our residents, and started investing in parks and recreation. And you can see it's paid off. We're our park system now, 15 years after we started, a lot of renovations, is in great shape. We dedicated a lot of money and took some flack for building these buildings that would stand up for 30 years, that we wouldn't be constant maintenance, that were built heavy, large block buildings, metal roofs, the whole 9 yards, metal doors. And people said, y'all are overspending sometimes. But the board saw it and said, no, we can spend money now, so we don't have to spend money again in 10 years, maybe it's further down the road. And that's paid off. Our buildings still look really good, the ones we did 10, 12, 15 years ago. We've always enjoyed that partnership. Mark Jackson, Mark Zimmerman have been constants during my time here. Our relationship, I can pick up the phone and I know I can call Mark Jackson or Mark Zimmerman and have a conversation with them. And we all have, different goals at times, but the same goal is best make Polk County better. And how we do that sometimes differs, but not a lot. We see eye to eye on a lot of things. It was important to us when we started renovating our facilities because we inherited a lot of facilities. Parents in an area, like let's take Fort Meade, decided they needed a baseball complex. They kind of piecemealed it together and got it, but what you did was inherit all these old buildings that were stick built, and just maintenance nightmares. And so we've gone back and we started that. But this other part of that, not only just making our maintenance life easier, was making them more attractive to the public, make them usable. And we've done that. If you look at our parks, Christina Park is one of the coolest places to go watch softball, girls softball there is. It's a really cool place. We do tournament rentals there a lot. We have a really thriving youth league there. You go to Simmers Young, the soccer complex there is fabulous. You go to Northeast Regional Park, that is a very, very cool facility that we get people from all over the world come to for soccer, lacrosse, football. It has 6 artificial turf fields, which is different than anything we've done before, but it attracts people, and it's very playable all the time. Doesn't need any rest, and maintenance is really reduced there. So we got these world-class facilities, and I'll put Northeast Regional Park as probably our biggest showcase of what we can do and what the county can look like, and it's been great. We fill that thing up a lot. When our youth league's not playing out there, there's somebody there, whether it be Disney coming over to do a tournament or whether it be a national youth football organization coming down, or lacrosse for the spring break, where all the colleges are coming down there. It makes a huge impact on the county. They're staying someplace. They're staying in the county. They're staying at hotels. They're staying in rental properties. They're eating in our restaurants, buying the gas from our stores. That's hugely important. It's really, it's a major key in our economy. So anything we can do to support that and work with Mark Jackson and sports marketing and tourism, that's what we have to do, what we should do, and what's best for the public. The only thing we do is we tightrope, make sure we're protecting our youth leagues too, because they're the people that are here every day. Our taxpayers that are here, their kids are playing in our leagues, the adults are playing. So that's where we kind of have to protect that. But other than that, we're extremely proud of what sports marketing's done. We're proud of what we've done as far as developing things that people want to come down to and consistently use.
So we're out here at Bone Valley ATV Park, and well, I'll talk to you a little bit about the park, your experience with ATVs, and kind of how this is a little bit different from your normal county park. Why don't you start there?
Well, this is a unique place. One, it was very fun. We had a lot of fun in developing it.
It's been around, what, about 2 years now, right?
Almost 2 years.
Okay.
I think March makes 2. Very cool development process. It was a long time. I mean, we worked on it 10 plus years. Commissioner Wilkinson, this was something he believed in and thought that we should have this. And he's right. With the number of ATVs registered in Central Florida, this park's needed. And that's where it came from. We've been really lucky with grants, state and federal grants to fund it as far as development goes. But this is a really cool and unique place. It's not really a park. It is a park. It's built like a park, but it's an attraction. For the first time kind of in my career, we're having to market it as an attraction instead of a park. Usually when you build a park, there's already a huge user group ready to go, and they know, and they're waiting on it. They're waiting on their fields because they need those fields in that area, or they need their playgrounds for their kids in that area. This is a little different. You're competing for outdoor time. We're competing against our own leagues. So in some cases, you're competing against hunting season. You're competing at other venues that are private. Florida, there's never a shortage of things to do. But the cool part about this is a full day, very reasonable priced activity for you and your kids. But it's a very unique place. You have the amenities of a park, and the restrooms, the picnic tables, the little shelters and things like that. But you also have things like what we have behind us, hill climb areas. We have a little mud area. We have a track. We have 8.5 miles of trails that are mostly under canopy. They're beautiful rides. Wildlife, as we saw earlier. We get deer bouncing around, turkey, and a few alligators here and there to make it interesting.
Tell us a little bit about, if someone comes out here for the first time, what can they expect to see on the trails? Because this used to be phosphate land, correct?
Yeah, we have a great partnership with Mosaic. They made the land available to us at a more than reasonable price. And it's all reclaimed phosphate, and it's been reclaimed for a while. If you ride through, there's old growth trees, and it's really nice out here. You can expect, like I said, it depends on what you want to do. If you want a trail ride, 8.5 miles of trail, 13 trails in various lengths and various degrees of difficulty. We have all of them marked really well. It's one-way trail system, so they're loop systems. So you
got the signage.
That's right. And we spent a lot of time on sign design just to make sure there's no confusion. We don't want any accidents. We don't want people coming up and in or out and in trail. So it's really well marked. So it's a loop trail system, which makes it extremely safe. Families love that. They want a place for their kids to ride and be safe on. And some of the other venues don't have that. You get a lot of cross traffic, which is extremely dangerous. So we took a lot of time designing that. So you got the trail system. And then if you want to play in the open area, we have a big open sand area with a track and a mud pit in it that's extremely popular with the visitors.
I can imagine.
We have 2 hill climb areas. This is one, and we have another one on the other side of the park for those a little more adventurous that want to try going up some sheer cliffs and doing the things they do, and they do. They developed a lot of the trails. We gave them the area, and the user group has developed most of the trails, which is awesome as far as the hill climb areas go.
Well, now speaking of getting that experience out on the trail, tell us a little bit about your experience in ATVs and what you like out here and all that.
I was lucky enough to grow up, like I said, in North Georgia. We talked a little bit about that earlier in the mountains, and we always had a little motorcycle or back in the day it was a 3-wheeler.
Yeah, you don't see those anymore.
No, pretty good reason for that. So we always had that. We moved to Florida, we brought them with us, and I lived out at Lake Buffum for a couple of years when we first moved out here, and we could ride all over the place. And so I kind of grew up riding ATVs, motorcycles. So this is kind of close to my heart too, as far as, you know, my childhood. We were outside a lot and riding. So it's kind of cool to have a park now that we can do that in it, and not have to travel to Ocala to do that, or you know, down to West Palm, South.
Yeah, you were having to travel quite a ways to you were wanting to before this, right?
You do, and the problem with some of the public venues around is they're very nice places, but they're only open for special events usually. They're not open ride every day or 4 days a week or even every weekend. So yeah, if you wanted to ride, you'd have to drive to Ocala, go to Cruise, which is a very nice park, but it's a ways away.
It's a hike.
It's a hike. It's a little, to get there. So it's nice to have something. Actually, this is about 15 minutes from my house, which is really nice. I come out here on the weekends a lot, just check on staff, see how the public's liking it, and see what's going on out here. It's always better if we can see the parks when they're in use.
Oh yeah.
For too much of our business day, our parks are active at night or on the weekends usually, and we're open Monday through Friday. Even though rec staff works a lot of Saturdays, but it's good to come out here. I was out here last weekend, and a huge day. A lot of people enjoy themselves, and talking to those people is one of the highlights of our jobs, because they give you very honest feedback. And the good part about this park thing that I enjoy is we've got about a 65% right in there retention rate. If you come here once, you'll come back over and over again. Our people come back a lot.
Looking at that, long-term position, just recently, there's plans now for another 335 acres just across the road to do an expansion. Tell us a little bit about what's going to be coming there in the future. Yeah,
that's really close to being done deal. Hopefully, in the next week or two, we'll have all that kind of wrapped up. I walked that property again the other day, and it's beautiful too. It's one half of it's kind of the fingers that's typical of mining, but those fingers
where you have the spoil piles, and then
those fingers are in some areas a lot bigger and a lot longer. The trails, we'll get a lot more trails out of that. We have 8.5 miles over here. We'll get 10 to 12 over there really easily. And then there's a whole other side of that is more open space, and so the things I would like to see that are kind of on our wish list, and it may take a while to get there, but eventually we'd like to see a campground of some sort, where people can come spend a weekend with us. We would like to see a motocross track, ATV track that's for practice and competition kind of thing. We'd like to see that. And some more open play, sand pit, mud pit kind of areas. People love those things too. So those are the kind of things that we've been asked for, and we would like to probably include in development down the road.
Okay. Well, it's still early on.
So we still got a while.
And there's already so much out here. So, it's great to see where it's come just here in the 2 years since y'all opened. There's just so much going on out here. So.
It is. And like I said, the restrictions are very few. We basically have two kind of rules. There's no alcoholic beverages. That's in any county park. That's not a new rule.
Yeah.
And families, ATVs kind of go better without alcohol, riding and driving. So that's a kind of a no-brainer. The other is the helmet law. We want people, our clients, to be safe, so we want them to wear their helmets out there. So those are the only two. And then the third one is it only affects kids under 16. You have to go through a rider safety course, which is online, all through our website. You can do that from your home computer, very easy. Bring the certificate when you're done, print it out and bring it with you, and we'll put it in your file. And you only have to do that once. So those are the only kind of things that are out there, and there's a lot of misconceptions about what you have to do. Those are it. If you have any other questions, you call my office, call the park, and they'll walk you through it. But other than that, man, if you got an ATV and you want to ride, we'll put you out here. It's kind of easy to do. We're open Monday or Friday through Monday. So we're open 4 days a week, both sides of the weekend, and we're open almost every holiday. Christmas Day we're closed. Other than that, we're pretty much open. So there's no kind of excuse to come on out and see us. Plenty of time.
That about does it for this edition of Polk Unplugged. Thanks to Derek for giving us a great tour of Bone Valley. Make sure you tune in next time. You never know where we're going to end up. Where are they? Said they'd be right back.